The Podcasting Dead is available on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Make sure to subscribe for more podcasts. And while you're at it, drop us a like. If you want to help support the channel and have access to extra content, secret contests, and more, make sure to search for us on Patreon. Patreon.com/thepodcastingdead.
I am so sad that we only have, two episodes left?
Yeah, 2 episodes, and then 2 months without The Walking Dead.
Indeed.
Jeez, what a world we live in.
Much like my sex life, it's like as soon as it gets started, you're done.
Done for at least 2 months.
At least,
I
need a break. I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we are the Podcasting Dead, and we're here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 10, Episode 6.
Yeah, that's right.
A good episode. I want to say out the gate, though, I saw a lot of people complaining online about this one being really, really boring, and I don't get it.
I don't know what people want at this point. I mean, should it be like the Fast and Furious every week?
Just nonstop action.
And, yeah, just
I mean, I agree 100%. Like, they're building these characters and they're building these storylines so they feel organic, and when things spill over and when the schnit hits the fan, it doesn't feel forced for the sake of drama. It's something that builds up. I mean, I don't know, man. So we've had some people say that we're just being very optimistic because Fear of the Walking Dead sucked so bad coming off of that. And I mean,
maybe there's a little truth to that.
There could be.
I've really enjoyed this season, man.
I really have too. I have very few complaints. I think the only complaint I have getting right into this episode is I really hope we're not about to have a rehashing of season 4's flu.
Right.
Bullshit, where it's like that, the kid died, Patrick died, fell in the shower and infected everybody or certain people. No, sorry. He fell in the shower, then he infected everybody. It's been so long since I've seen that. And we had this whole flu saga going on in the prison. It was cool. It was different then, but we don't need I just hope that this isn't a rehashing. I hope that when we go back next episode, like people are healing from the bug or whatever, you know what I'm saying? It's just kind of like a little plot point, because if we have to go through this whole thing of, I don't know. I just feel like we've been here before.
Yeah, man. And, I know it's been out there. It's not my theory, but the idea that this new doctor is like a whisper plant or whatever, man.
I don't believe that.
Dude, he is just so like douchey in a he's trying so hard to be charming, man. And now everyone's getting sick. I'm starting to come around on that. I think.
You think so? It's Dante. Dante from the comics was Maggie's love interest.
Yeah, but even still, man, I think maybe he's like spreading some infection or something.
You think so? You think he's like spreading it sexually, like he's having sex with his patients, and
maybe
that's how
he is, man. Maybe he's doing some. Well, I guess a lot of doctors have done that. I don't know, but yeah, dude, I don't trust him. Like I said, he's going out of his way too much to be nice and charming, and I think he's up to something.
I feel like he just might be one of those awkward people that tries too hard. I mean, you and I both know people that try way too hard.
I've been that guy before, But.
Yeah, I'm sure I have too. I mean, it's just, but I think that I think he's just trying too hard. I don't think he's bad by any means. I actually kind of like him. I mean, he is douchey, and a lot of the things he says, you're like, douche. But I feel like that's the way he was written. You're supposed to kind of cringe at some of the stuff he says because real life is cringy.
Yeah.
But I don't think he's a whisperer. But a lot of people, are talking online, and I've seen a lot of people saying that the bodies because apparently what Alpha was saying, they just were using the bodies to dam up the water, not necessarily to infect it. And it makes, because you got to think, as advanced as they are, they've got to be smart enough to boil their water beforehand.
Yeah, they can't just have like creek water on tap.
Right, they've got to be boiling and sanitizing their water. So I really, truly hope they're not just getting buckets of water, bringing it to their communities, and then just drinking it. Yeah. That's like only in the most desperate of times. You've got time to bring it in. Let's see, if you got time to, I was trying to think of something that rhymes with boil. What words rhyme with boil?
Royal?
That's not going to work.
Not really, no. I was like, what was it like?
Well, there's King Ezekiel's at the hilltop. If you have time for a royal, then you got time to boil.
You got time to boil. Come on now.
Yeah, and then one thing too, am I the only one that was wondering why they brought, as far as we know, an unvaccinated infant into an infirmary of sick people?
That was a little off-putting. Yeah, you would think Dr. Siddiq would have, understood that a little bit better. But
by the doctor, no less. Like, it's not even just a person that came in and was like, hey, whatever. This is the doctor. This is the main guy.
The guy who was just breaking Dante's balls about, not doing whatever it was, but. That was a little bit of an oversight.
But someone might have some reason why that's okay. But I just thought, okay, why is the doctor of all people bringing this, as far as we know, unvaccinated child into the infirmary? That just doesn't make sense.
Grown-up germs, they don't work on babies, right?
That's what the anti-vaxxers believe, I'm sure.
I don't know.
But every interaction between Negan and the Whisperers this episode was pure gold. I enjoyed the entire. I love how Negan and Jeffrey Dean Morgan have just like flipped a switch. You know, Negan went from being kind of that bitter old man to right back, like to season 6 and 7 Negan.
He's playing the role great, man. Just Negan, reversing his mindset. I think it's on purpose. I don't know where you stand, but.
Oh, I think it's kind of like he just has to psych himself up. I really feel like Negan is more of the man that we've seen recently, but I feel like he knows in order to put on that charm and to put on that facade of, I'm against them. I want to help. It's kind of just to give himself some confidence. A lot of people in life aren't as confident as they appear to be. It's just an act they have to, a character they play in order to appear confident. And I feel like with Negan, that's kind of how that is. He's like, all right, got to get back into this role.
Right.
In order to do this, because think about how brave it is, though, what he's doing. I mean,
oh yeah.
Some people, we know how it goes in the comics, and we're not going to mention that because we don't want to spoil that. But
and it could go a totally different way than the comics used to say.
But some saying he's joining to help the Alexandrians and they help our people, or some people saying he's joining because he's really bad again. Either way, to just go up in the woods alone and confront the Whisperers and and knowing how they do. I mean, he's a brave damn dude, man.
Yeah, man. But I mean, just as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Negan would do anything to bring harm to Judith. I mean, he does care about some people in Alexandria. Not to mention, they want to string him up at this point, so he's got to do something. If he wants to stay a part of that community, he's got to redeem himself, in a big way.
Oh, yeah.
And what bigger way than, taking it right to the Whisperers.
Right from the inside. If I was Negan, man, when Beta had me dig the hole, the first thing I would have said was like, this isn't for me, right? Yeah. Because if somebody ever puts a gun to my head and is like, dig your own grave, just shoot me.
Right, yeah. Why do I want to spend my last minutes digging a freaking hole?
Your lazy ass can dig the hole.
Yeah. You're the one who's got to, get rid of the body so you don't get a murder rap.
Right.
Helping you.
Right. But I don't know. We get to see Negan hunting pig. I mean, he was shanking that pig too, dude. Man. Like prison Negan all those years. And even though he was the only one, I just imagine all those years in prison must have, made him into a hard ass.
Yeah.
He's like, it's like back on D Block. You only were in one cell by yourself.
Well.
But then, of course, we didn't really see much of the Magna. We didn't see like any of that.
We didn't make our way back up there.
And watching the episode beforehand, I'm not too upset. That's probably the only bit of drama I really don't.
Yeah, man. I hope that goes somewhere worthwhile because it has kind of been the only drag on the show this season.
Like
for me, at least.
I get that Magna. She explained that she killed the girl that Yumi was defending her against. In court and all of that. And that's a big revelation. But I mean, again, she's still just essentially mad because Yumiko said, fall back.
Right.
And that's where all this is coming from. I mean, unless there's some underlying something that we haven't seen yet. But that's just, to me, that just feels kind of like, all right, these characters are important and we want them to stay main characters. So we've got to come up with some kind of drama to keep them in the spotlight. I want to know that Luke's going to be okay. I feel like they're going to kill off Luke.
You see Luke going this season?
I do, and I really don't want to.
Well, I just want to see Magna keep killing that Asian butt. Oh, there you are again.
Keep going.
Nah, man. I want him to work things out. We need some more nice lesbian scenes. Not that it's strictly for the pleasure of the male viewership, but it's still nice. Anyway, but nah, man. Like I said, that's the one like soap opera kind of aspect of the show that I'm not missing right now. At least in this episode.
Yeah, I'm not either.
And man, Negan, you think he's going to charm Alpha? You think he's really going to, because all of her followers love her. So, I mean, she really hadn't, taken love in from them, though. You think he's going to get inside her? Not in a sexual way. I'm just saying, you think he's going to get in her head?
Oh, absolutely.
She's a master manipulator, just like Negan. So,
oh yeah,
it'll be interesting to see who kind of wins that battle of wits.
Oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I definitely think that he's going to get in her head. I think he's going to get in close. And I don't want to say where it goes based on the comics. I feel like everything I say is going to be a spoiler. But, I mean, also too, may I say, if you haven't read the comics yet, what the hell are you doing?
It's true.
Because we try really hard sometimes to not spoil the comics, but at the end of the day, we've had people go, I'm waiting until the show ends to read the comics. Well, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You don't know when it's going to end, so you're putting off reading the comics for what could be another 5-10 years. Like, just go read the damn comic. And if you don't want to know what happens, then, just deal with the fact that this part of the comics has been over for, 2-3 years?
Yeah, dude. I just
2016-ish, was it? 2016?
That sounds right.
2016 when this was going down, so it's been 3 years. By now, just either accept that you're going to have it spoiled, or go ahead and jump on reading those comics.
I really feel like there's fixed points in the show, stuff that has to happen. Like Shane has to die. Like someone has to have their head cut off at the gates of the prison by the governor. I feel like what happens in the comics with Negan and one of the Whisperers, I feel like it's got to happen.
If it doesn't, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Right.
I'm with you.
I mean, you've got to have heads on pikes at some point. Yeah, some details change. But I feel like what happens with Negan in that Whisperer camp has got to happen.
Well, if Negan would have showed up and not bashed someone's brains in, he would have automatically sucked in my book. You know what I mean? You have certain points of the comics, and I'm not a stickler for it being identical to the comics. I mean, they changed up the Pike lineup dramatically.
Yeah.
I mean, there are some major players who are actually still alive and kicking right now in the show that their head was on a pike, But I was fine with that. I was fine with the way they did that. I always like to see a character that dies, and like Carol. I mean, she should have been dead, but it's cool to see her carry on with this whole new character pretty much in the show. But I mean, there are certain, like JP said, fixed points where it's like, dude, you have to at least pay homage to this in some way. And I agree with what goes down with Negan and his time with the Whisperers. If that does not go down the same way in the show, it's going to be a waste.
Yeah, man. That was a great music montage, though. Just Negan and a Beta, like piling up, skinning the bodies and just doing the daily chores.
Negan gets some of those. Cool. Remember, he had a cool montage with Carl in season 7? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was season 7 where he goes back to Alexandria with Carl. He made him spaghetti and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And it's just like, actually, cool fact. The song, it was like, what was it? How did that song go? It was like a real upbeat ditty, but it was just like, I trade you my heart for your heart, something.
Yeah.
I don't know her very, very well, but I'm acquainted with the woman who sung that. Granddaughter lives in our area. Yeah,
that's awesome, dude.
She's from here. She moved like an hour away, but yeah, that's her grandmother.
Yeah, it almost reminded me of like a sequence from Breaking Bad. Like Jesse and Walt, like cooking meth, and you got the cool music playing behind them.
Yeah,
it was almost like that. But yeah, just some really good Negan-ish, man. I know we've been just thirsty for that Negan, and man, I got my thirst was quenched last night. You see what I'm saying?
Well, considering that Breaking Bad is a prequel for the Walking Dead, and Walt's Walt's meth is what started the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah.
So. Just wonder how he got everyone in the world to smoke his meth, since they're all infected, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just I guess there was enough meth heads out there already eating people. It started happening, and we all thought it was bath salts turning people into cannibals, but no, it was that blue meth.
I want to say I hate to be picky, but I don't hate to be picky. So I really think that they need to chill out with this whole, Daryl, there's no way he didn't get that zombie blood in his mouth. Like, there's no way. Like, it's just so loose with what will and won't infect you. I think the whole idea of, and we talked about this once and had some genius in the comment section that just totally didn't. So sometimes I want people to start practicing something. Before you comment on something, make sure you listen. Listen all the way through. Listen thoroughly, because we had one guy that completely didn't get what we were saying, because what they say is that it's not. It's this zombie virus isn't necessarily, it's not a virus per se. I mean, it is wildfire, or whatever they called it. Right. But I mean, essentially, what it is that when the zombie bites you, there's so much infection and bacteria and nasty schnit in their mouth that the infection you get from the bite kills you, and then you are brought back by the virus.
Yeah.
They've explained that a couple of times, the fact that, it's not the zombie bites you and transfers the virus. In fact, or whatever it is, we all have it. Everybody has it. Everyone's infected. What it is the zombie bites you, and the infection from that bite kills you. and brings you back. And now, if I'm wrong on that, please explain in the comments section. But I went back and rewatched that a couple of, this show.
It's a weird gray area. I mean, I definitely feel like there's something unique that's carried in the zombies, because otherwise somebody would have had to have survived a bite.
Right. All you would need is some neosporin and rubbing alcohol to kill the bat, or antibiotics, and you would have. And one guy, that's what he was saying, was like, "You're saying that the zombie apocalypse is only." What we're saying is, according to how this virus supposedly works, which is very murky water, because again, Rick in the very first episode, well, no, not the very first, the second episode of The Walking Dead tells all of them in that store, when they're gutting the walker, trying to blend. The first time him and Glenn do the whole cover themselves in guts and stuff, he's like, don't get any in your eyes or in your mouth. I mean, like, then it was to the point where, like, it could infect you like that. Now it's just like Daryl's like, oh, yeah, zombie blood. Oh.
Yeah, it's a great exfoliant.
I just kind of,
It almost killed Father Gabe, right?
Right, got in his eyeball, and yet Daryl's just rubbing the snit on his face and like.
Yeah, dude, it's always a weird thing with the zombie infections.
And it's one of those people, mega fans of the show will try to defend, but like Rick had that zombie he killed in at the end of season 5,
where he cut his hand.
Yeah, well, not even that. Well, yeah, that. But then the one where he stabs the zombie or rips its throat out inside Alexandria. Right. All the blood just. I mean, like, there's no way, man. There's no way you'd be infected if that's the case. And then I don't get if it's the fact that the whole idea is that these people have been dead for a while, and then all of this bacteria from their decomposing bodies builds up in their mouth. But okay, then why if someone just turns? If they bite you, they haven't been dead long at all.
Yeah, man. Maybe they form like venom sacs in their mouth. I don't know.
I feel like, well, it's not a venom. It's the bacteria.
Right.
There's no venom to this. Nothing it's the bacteria and the just the nasty snit in their mouth that when they bite you gets into your body. It's kind of like think of it like is it a Komodo dragon or a monitor lizard? One of the two of them.
I can't remember though.
They're not venomous, but there's bacteria in their mouth that when they bite you, it can kill you. It's just so much high levels of bacteria, and I can understand long dead bodies having that. But when someone gets bit, anyways, I love this show. So some people think when you name things that are wrong with the show that you're just instantly picking it apart. I love the show. I'm just saying. I think sometimes they're a little loose with what will and won't infect you. It's much simpler when it's like, hey, they've got an infection. If they bite you, you now have this disease. But then I guess you couldn't do. They all come back. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. But it was pretty sick though, seeing Negan just walking up with that like tree limb, just had bludgeon that horde, man. Oh God, man, I can't get over the Negan awesomeness in this episode, man. I liked it.
And the Carol douchiness.
Yeah,
I know Carol's coming from a place we can't understand. Her son was decapitated, and she saw his head on a spike, and I get it. But, I mean, she could have gotten Daryl killed right there, which, to her defense, at the same time, I'm going to play devil's advocate to myself. I do also understand that's why Carol was going alone.
Right.
But she should have just been honest with Daryl, and maybe Daryl would have tried to stop her. I don't know, but it's like
he would have been out there regardless. He would have done something.
But, But I mean, so I do understand. So when I say Carol's being douchey, I don't mean like Carol is a straight up douche, but Carol's being a little reckless right now.
She's going rogue, and that's not always a good thing. I mean, Daryl did that with Rick in All Out War, and you see where that got.
Yeah. So like I said, I think that you're right, exactly. So maybe Daryl is the perfect person to talk her down off that metaphorical ledge just because he's been there. He's been the one going rogue to get revenge. And, I don't know. But, yeah, Carol, I mean, she snapped that twig, which almost, I know it looked like it was an accident, but it seemed to have worked out pretty well for her.
Yeah, it did. Accomplished exactly what she wanted. So,
and then I don't know. It was a good episode. I'm trying to think of what I really was expecting. So tell me this. When Siddiq sits down with the baby and he wakes up, did he sleepwalk?
That's what it looked like to me, man. I
thought it was a dream sequence at first, and then the more I realized, like, we're not going back to that. Like, so he sleptwalked and wound up there.
I don't know, man. But speaking of that whole situation, you think Rosita's kind of turning around on Eugene?
It seems that way. Yeah, it seems that way.
Eugene, but she might be, man. She was definitely. I think she's just, she's tired of Siddiq's douchiness. She's tired of Morgan's just creepiness.
I wouldn't say Siddiq's douchey. I'd say he's whiny. She's tired of Siddiq whining. She's tired of Father Gabriel looking at her with that one freaky ass eye.
Gabriel.
That one freaky ass eye of his, which I really do like Father Gabriel now. It's crazy how he does a turnaround. I mean, like even up until the end of All Out War, where he had, Negan's gun to the back of his head, which, by the way, I was not happy with the way they did that because Negan was very, Negan and Gabriel, they connected. I know Gabriel tried to run away from him, and that made Negan mad. But at the end of the day, can you blame him? Yeah. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. But even up to that point, Gabriel was still kind of a coward. And I love how now he's, because we're so many years down the road, I like Gabriel.
Yeah. Yeah, man, he's a good character. Like I said, he does not turn my crank at all. I don't see what Rosita, is into him about. Maybe it's just his higher
that one
position.
Badass eye.
Now. Yeah,
it's like a Nick Fury thing going.
Yeah, it could be. Some chicks are into like scars and deformities and stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
But yeah, I think she is missing you. I think Eugene makes her, when I say he makes her feel safe, I don't necessarily mean in a protecting her from walkers, because we all know Rosita, if anything, is the one to physically keep Eugene safe because she's a badass, and he's gotten better, but he's still no Rosita.
He will bite you right in the dick.
But I think relationship-wise and all of that, I think he makes Rosita feel safe, and I think that him being gone is just kind of, she feels alone because he's always kind of been there.
Yeah. And they got history. They got mad history. They've shared a lot of trauma.
She tried to kill him at one point because he threw up on her.
Yeah, that's right.
After they thought he was going to be full-time Team Negan. So they've definitely been through the ringer. I think she's turning around, but I think it's going to be one of those situations where, he pined for her for so long, and now he's gone, and he's found this lady on the radio who you and I probably have, and other comic readers have a pretty good idea of who this is. And he might start pining for this girl, and Rosita becomes kind of someone who's interested in him now, and he doesn't share the affection.
Yeah, that's right. So
the tables might turn.
It's true, man. If you can't be with the one you love the one you're with.
I really thought when she was laying there on the bed sick, and you had Siddiq rocking the baby, I really don't know why I thought Rosita was just going to turn into a walker. Because she's just laying there feverish and sick. And the last time we saw everybody with fevers, that's what happened. They all died and came back, as walkers. So I thought, oh man, she's going to die in her sleep and wake up. And, because he was sitting there staring at the baby. And what's crazy is you follow the baby's eyes. It looked like they were trying to get the baby to look at certain points. And I thought the baby, when it started looking up past him, I thought he was going to turn around and Rosita was going to be over top of him, which would be really sad for Eugene. Because, he had said, she had said, that she would talk with him that night. So he was sitting there waiting, and I thought maybe she was going to die of the fever, and it was going to be really sad because Eugene was going to be sitting there waiting on her call, and it never happens, which it didn't, but without the death.
I'd hate to lose Rosita, man. That's kind of what the show needs, man. Just something totally
just something that shocks you,
Just a zombie Rosita gnawing into Siddiq.
Oh yeah,
baby on the dude.
It should have been like Rosita gets up and bites him right in the throat, and it doesn't kill him, but he gets her off of him, and he runs, and he's able to get the baby to safety. But then Rosita has to be put down, and just starts this whole. I don't know. I think we're going to find out more because we heard Alpha and Beta both saying open your eyes, so we know that, and we saw him standing out where the pikes were, they made him look at all of the heads and stuff. Yeah. A lot of folks, and myself somewhat included, was starting to think that perhaps, not that Siddiq was a bad guy or sent in to infiltrate, but what he was hiding was the fact that the Whisperers made him behead his friends.
Yeah, he was coerced, yeah.
I mean, think about that from a breaking your enemy or breaking someone psychologically. I mean, imagine that. Imagine forcing someone to have to murder their close friends and family and then have to go on living with that, because there are some things worse than death. And I mean, to walk around knowing that, of course, you didn't have a choice, but you ended the lives of your friends in a horrible way, hacking their heads off would be just, and he's a doctor, so it makes sense to have him just break, you know what I mean? But without killing him. But yeah, so I don't know if I think he took part in the beheadings or not, obviously forced, but we'll see.
Yeah, man, I know Alpha's all about, we're animals, we're getting back to nature, but I still say if I had a doctor hostage, I wouldn't be giving them back. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Doctor, you coming with me? We still kind of get sick and stuff. So,
we still kind of get sick and stuff.
Yeah, we still kind of get sick and stuff. We break a toe every now and then, even though there's nothing you can do for a broke toe. If you ever broke your toe, it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, nothing.
And I feel like And here's another problem I have. Little, again, I'm nitpicking, but we're here to discuss the show, not here to pretend to, love everything if we don't. But so if what's been getting them sick is the water supply from the walkers being gutted and thrown into the river there, the creek. Aaron saw that. Has Aaron just not gotten back and been like, hey, don't get water from there? It'd be really an oversight on Aaron's part, unless it's one of those things where he's just out on one of his like find myself things again and he just hasn't returned yet. But if Aaron saw that, got back, didn't report it to the others, and then they were drinking the water and getting sick, I'd be like, Aaron, you're a dumbass.
Yeah, no kidding. Not to mention, like you said, you think they'd be sanitizing this water in some capacity.
I mean, you got to. I mean, we always joked when we talk about our bullshit never going to happen zombie apocalypse scenarios, and we're always like, talking about how you can collect rainwater and ways to sanitize it, and, I just can't imagine that you're as advanced as they are. Which then again, hold on, wait a minute. Siddiq is at Alexandria, right?
Yes.
Because with the windmills now at multiple places, or at both, it kind of messes me up because I'm used to thinking of the hilltop as the place with like the windmills and stuff, and Alexandria is more of like a suburb.
Yeah.
But now that Alexandria has like a windmill and all of that, which makes sense, it mixes me up sometimes with who's where. And Siddiq was at the hilltop for a while, and now he's at Alexandria. Sometimes on locations, I do think I get a little bit of a brain fart, and I'm thinking somebody is at the hilltop when they're at Alexandria, vice versa.
Yeah. Yeah, man, thank God for Georgie and her windmill blueprints.
Yeah, thank goodness for that. Hopefully she'll bring Maggie back.
Yeah, we'll see, man. Shouldn't be we got 2 more episodes this half of the season. It would be nice to see some Maggie before it's all said and done.
I miss seeing Michonne this episode.
Yeah,
I really
man.
feel like being she's leaving the season, I should see her every episode.
You would think. I'm kind of worried that, like, the next episode's going to be just like a Michonne one-off at Seaside or whatever.
Oh, God, please, no. Let's continue this nice flow of multiple storylines. And that's what I think I like so much about the last 2 seasons is the fact that there are multiple storylines going on. And I'm not just forced to stick with like one character for an episode.
Man. It's a really good balance. It's not oversaturated with storylines. I really feel like the next episode, now I haven't seen any scenes, so this might be completely wrong, but it'll just be a romp with Enid and Michonne, and that might be great. It might be an awesome
Enid's
episode.
dead.
Not Enid. Good grief. I suck at names. Who's Michonne teaming up with right now?
Judith.
Judith, right. Yeah, Enid,
I was going to say,
that
too.
would be interesting, an Enid team up. Yeah, just like a ghost form of Enid doing their things.
She's like carrying her head.
Right. Names are hard.
They are. I'm terrible with names, too, so you're not alone in that. I really was thinking the other day, you hear these like top 10 TV moms and things like that, come Mother's Day, podcasts or radio shows or even like Looper or Watch Mojo, whatever. They'll do things like top 10 TV moms. And who I've never personally seen on a list who should absolutely be on that list?
Who?
Freaking Michonne.
She really should be.
She's a great TV mom. Like when you think about it, and I say this because I went back yesterday and was watching the earlier episodes of the season, as we were waiting on the new episode. And I just she plays a mom so good. Like she just, even if you think back to like her and Carl, pre kind of her being Judith's stepmom, she's just got this very motherly way about her. And she does such a good job of like not becoming like a settled mom. Like she's a mom and she's motherly and she's nurturing, but she will also chop someone's head off and not skip a beat. And I don't know if she's ever ended up on any of these lists, but every list, I've never seen a top whatever mothers on TV and seen Michonne even in the list. And not only should she be in the list, I think she should be in like the top 3 at least.
I mean, let's not forget a pregnant Michonne murdered a bunch of little kids to save Judith.
Right.
I mean, she had to, but she did it.
Yeah.
I mean, that's crazy.
She's a badass, and she's good as a mom. Like you see the scenes where she's not fighting and she's just interacting with the kids. And not only is it just Michonne's character, but like Denai Guerrera plays it so well. She's got a very motherly quality to her, and I'm not honestly sure if she has children in real life or not, but she plays a mom so freaking well. So it's like, if you the listener ever are part of like a Watch Mojo survey or any of these lists, and they're ever like, who's your favorite TV mom? Vote Michonne.
Yeah, none of these sites ever want to give The Walking Dead any love.
No, they don't.
It just never does. Any critics or anything.
No, and I really think. I mean, I think that. I really do think Michonne's probably the best mom in the whole show.
Oh, yeah, dude. I mean,
I'm trying to think if there were any other better moms. Lori sucked.
Yeah,
she just pretty much put her kid off on everybody else.
Carol doesn't have the best track record. She's had 2 get killed on her watch.
Oh,
Not out of her circumstances,
4.
out of her hands.
4. She had Sophia die. She had Mika and her sister die. She
Yeah.
also had Henry die.
Yeah.
So, Carol's not, and it's not, again, like you said, out of her hands, but as far as it's just not good on her track record.
No.
But I think that Michonne's the best mom on The Walking Dead, period. But like you said, the shows and stuff like that on there, unless it's a Walking Dead focus. And I do think Andy Lincoln won best. One time, Andrew Lincoln won best anti-hero. And to this day, that was back during like the prison saga. To this day, I do not understand how Andrew Lincoln is an anti-hero.
That is weird. What was that, like the Spike TV Awards or something weird like that?
I don't know. I don't know if it was an Emmy. I don't know what it was. But like the thing is, an anti-hero is like, for instance, like Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy. Like, he's this guy who's technically a criminal. He's breaking the law. He's dealing with like Walter White is an anti-hero.
Yeah, Walter
going
White,
on something
Tony
JP
Soprano, like Wolverine from the X-Men.
I wouldn't consider Wolverine an anti-hero. I mean, he's a bad guy and he don't mind killing, but like the Punisher is an anti-hero. Like, he's straight up breaking the law and he's technically a bad guy. He's just doing things like nothing Walter White did was anything that you would back up in real life. It's just that because you followed his story in a way the narrative was crafted, you were kind of pulling for him. And like Rick Grimes at no point is an anti-hero. In fact, he goes out of his way for the first few seasons to try to always do the morally right thing. I mean, he's trying to, if he ever does kill someone, it's because he's saving someone else. It wasn't until like season 5, I'd say, I remember the part where I think Rick kind of became an anti-hero, and correct me if there's something before this I'm not thinking about. But I really feel like the moment where Rick kind of became an anti-hero, at least for a while, was when they were trying to get Beth back. That cop that he just runs down with his car and then kills, even though he doesn't have to, that was kind of anti-hero territory. And still, one could argue that he only did it, though, because he's trying to get Beth back and these people were bad. But that's where I was like, okay, and see, now I see the anti-hero. But back when he got that award, whenever it was, like, Rick Grimes isn't an anti-hero. What are you talking about? It's like saying...
That's a stretch. Yeah.
It is, but yeah, they don't get as much love. But no, Michonne, the next time you see a podcast out there or a voting survey site, whatever, and they're asking you, like, who is the best TV mom, vote Michonne.
Leave her some love. She deserves it.
I feel like
She's
if you
not
go
going to
back...
be around for much longer. So
right. I feel like if you go back and watch the show with that mindset of, let me see Michonne's mom moments, you're like, oh my gosh, she's amazing. Because I said back when the whole Carl was dying thing, everybody's like, oh, Rick, how's this going to affect Rick? I'm like, well, forget Rick for a second. We know how it's going to affect him. How's this going to affect Michonne?
Yep.
She's essentially been like his stepmom / best friend, because she and he got really close long before her and Rick started doing the dirty. I mean, she was just always like a good motherly / friend figure to Carl.
Yeah.
And, I think she's probably my favorite TV mom. But anyways, I know that was a bit of a digression there, but we're not going to have Michonne for much longer.
I know. I'm starting to get sentimental too, man.
We've got to discuss her. Maybe we'll do that. Maybe while we're on break, we'll go back unless she happens to die for the mid-season. But, if we don't have any Walking Dead material, we'll go through like our favorite Michonne kills, our favorite Michonne touching moments, our favorite. We'll do like some Michonne specials in order to celebrate. Because I remember you and I back in season 6 when we started this podcast, both of us were saying at that point, forget Rick. If they kill Michonne, I'm out. Like, I think we both were able to say, taking Rick out of the equation, Michonne was our favorite character.
Yeah, dude. And that's still very true. I mean, I love Negan when used properly. But, yeah, man, Michonne is top notch.
And they just could not have. Maybe we'll do like a tribute to Denai Guerrero or something as Michonne, because she just was so good. And it's a lot of talented actors on this show, but I just by far and large, and I think I've said for a while, I think Denai Guerrero is one of the most talented actors on the show. So taking her off is going to definitely put a big hit in that.
I might be in my feels more about Michonne leaving than I was when Rick left.
I might be too, actually. And I think with Rick, though, you didn't really get in your feels. You didn't have time. I think the bridge scene was sad, and I think when he pulled that trigger and everything exploded, even if you weren't crying, you felt that lump in your throat.
Right.
But then when you saw him wash up on the shore and you knew he was going to be okay, you were like, oh. So it wasn't as sad, like Michonne leaving, especially if they actually kill her, which I'm starting to worry that they're going to do. because they've had this bad habit of just like when they get rid of a character, instead of killing them, they just write them off into the sunset. Right. I feel like they're going to go back to the chopping block quite literally with Michonne, and they're going to kill her in order, because we probably think that. We're probably like, oh, that's if she's not confirmed for the Rick movies. I've not found anywhere where she's confirmed.
That either. And Denai Guerrero, she doesn't need the Walking Dead safety net, you know?
No.
Like Laurie Cohen, she needs the Walking Dead safety net. She went out on a limb with some ABC, whatever that show was.
That apparently was
Didn't
not
work
well
out,
received, right?
The champagne horse, whatever it was. Yeah, God, I tried to watch an episode, dude.
Whiskey Cavalier.
Yeah,
or
Whiskey
something
Cavalier.
Like that.
Yeah, it was painful.
I didn't even watch it, man. I'm just not into that kind of buddy cop agent kind of show.
Yeah,
They've just been. We've had them since before I was born.
It
and
was
it just
so cookie cutter, man. It was just like, formulaic. It was awful.
If I were her, man, I wouldn't get it. The only shows I'd be getting into are like rival, like HBO shows, or like some Showtime stuff. You know what I mean?
They had offered her a part on like The Watchmen. I could say, yeah, that's worth taking the risk.
Right, absolutely, yeah. But you're just going to kind of a buddy cop rom-com type thing, man.
And I guess part of it, from what I understand, is she wanted like equitable pay, as like Rick and some of the other leads. I don't know. I've heard rumbles of that. But.
Oh, and it's like pay the girl what she's worth, but also to I mean, and I really shouldn't speak on it because I don't know what the pay gap was, and I know like in today's very progressive time, the thought that a woman not getting paid as much as a man is something that upsets people, and rightfully so sometimes, especially when the woman is contributing just as much, you know. And I think that Maggie's a main character, but let's not. It's like to Lauren Cohen, like let's not forget though. Like Rick and Daryl pretty much are the two main characters of this show. They are the breadwinners. I mean, you don't just have nobody was doing the slogan, "If Maggie dies, we riot."
Yeah.
If anything, Daryl was the most popular on the show, and his pay was understandable. However, with that said, because I know that we've got one chick in our comment section that pops in from time to time, is like super, super feminist. So God forbid you even say a woman didn't do a good job and whoo, she's going to lay into you. But I mean, I don't know what they wanted to pay, but I definitely hope it wasn't one of those like, they're paying Andrew Lincoln and Norman Reedus this, and she's like, I want the exact same pay. And it's like, well, but you're not as big of a character.
Right. Yeah,
Michonne is
you got to be reasonable,
right? Now Michonne is more of a forefront character, so she could be like, "I want main character pay. I'm a main character." Maggie kind of was sometimes she wasn't, but nonetheless, I like Lauren Cohen, and I'm excited to see her come back. I hope they pay her what she's worth. Like all that I was just saying. Don't think I was saying she should accept lower pay because she's a woman. No, I'm just saying I hope that what she was asking for wasn't like, because we don't know. It might have been ridiculously. I want more than Norman Reedus.
Give her a fair deal.
Like, give her what she's worth. She's been with the show for this long. She definitely deserves to be in the top, with the top build people in the show. She's earned it. She's paid her dues. But, either way, she's supposed to be coming back. So we'll see.
We'll see, man. 2 episodes to find out. What would you gauge this episode at, man? It hit pretty hard for me.
You talking about ratings?
Yeah.
I'd easily give it a 4 out of 5.
I'm right there at a 4, man. Just the Negan stuff alone, dude. It didn't lose me at any point, Like last week, I kind of trailed off a little bit just with the Magna stuff. And,
right.
Yeah, dude. I'm excited for the next 2 episodes, man.
I'm digging this one. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what else was going on here. We kind of departed again from Michonne. We didn't get nothing on Michonne, Luke, Judith.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody we left out.
I think we covered it pretty good. Eugene has found.
I was gonna say I feel like Eugene, Negan, and Siddiq were kind of the focal points of this episode.
Yeah, man. I thought it was a good one, well balanced. We got just as much Negan as we've been wanting.
And Carol and Daryl, of course. That's the thing, man. Like, look how many stories there. And I love that. I love that about The Walking Dead, and I don't want them to change it. I think I love that they. I mean, just in this one episode, you followed Siddiq, you followed Daryl and Carol, you followed Eugene, you followed Negan. I mean, you had like so many story arcs going at the same time. Like, I'm blown away when people are like, this show is so boring now. This was a boring. Somebody, because what is the episode's called? Sick of Waiting or something, and people were commenting going, I think an appropriate name for this episode would be Sick of the Walking Dead or something. And I'm like, what do you people want, man? Like, if it's all action, you're going to complain that there's no substance and no storytelling, because believe it or not, shows like Game of Thrones would have episodes where there weren't as much action, but it was plenty of character building and story progression. And that's like what you're getting here. I I don't know, man. And I mean, to each their own. I'm not saying you're wrong if you don't like it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. I mean, I can't, there's no right and wrong when it comes to your preferences. Mm-hmm. However, for fans of the show who just all of a sudden have been like, I think it sucks. I'm not seeing your point.
Yeah, me neither, man. Like I said, a couple seasons ago, I might have been right there with you, but I'm
I thought it was headed that way. I definitely for a while in seasons like, especially season 7, man, going into season 8, I definitely thought we were getting to the point where I was seeing the downhill demise of The Walking Dead. It just felt like it was getting slow. They drug All Out War out for 2 whole damn seasons.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was, but like you and I, you can go back and listen to this podcast, man. I think around season 9, pretty much on through, we were very pleased with it. And in season 10, I think we might have had an episode or 2 in season 9 where we were like, it was an all right episode. But I still, overall, man. Yeah, I haven't been this excited for it in a long time.
Yeah, dude, same here. Stoked for what's coming the next 2 episodes. And stoked, man, tomorrow we doing a Patreon exclusive podcast. You feeling that?
When, tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, because we're doing it. We were going to do it last week, but not. We're drawing the winner for the prize pack. It's going to be full of Negan goodness, as long as some other surprises in there as well.
We're drawing for that this week, I promise. And here's what I want to start pledging to the patrons.
Yes.
I want to start pledging. We're going to do a secret contest at least once a month.
Yeah.
So we're going to draw this. This is a big package, and it might be little stuff. It might be a Funko Pop, or it might be a T-shirt, or it might be a picture of JP and I's asses side by side.
Yeah.
But what we will start doing is to make it worth your while, and we appreciate everyone's patience with the Patreon too, because you got to understand we do radio full time, and we kind of have to work this podcast around that. And JP works 2 jobs, so it's not like. It's not like we have all this free time to put in. We really do kind of record these when we have free time, and then they have to be edited and uploaded. I mean, I've thought about outsourcing and finding someone to do some editing. Mm-hmm. I got a MacBook for that, but I mean, I'm sitting here like, dude, I really don't have. I get home.
And I mean, you're producing a podcast for another person too, right?
Oh yeah,
yeah. I mean, you're in the production business. Doing videos with your papa.
Oh yeah. So it's just like between all of that and this, I've really thought about like finding someone to pay or maybe trade something.
Anybody?
We don't have much to pay, but we don't have much to pay. But someone who could take these podcasts and just edit them with clips of the show And I mean, don't get me wrong, if the Patreon builds up to the point we can make a living on this, oh my gosh, you're going to have video podcasts, you're going to have podcasts with like clips from the show and all that kind of stuff. But so I appreciate the Patreon crew kind of bearing with us there, because I know that we haven't necessarily, we've been giving out, we've been doing podcasts every week.
Yeah, we've got back on the horse, and it's only going to be up from here.
Yeah, we need to start doing some secret contests and things like that. So patrons, just hang tight. I promise you that we're going to make it worth your while.
And for those interested, so you've still got one more day. Enter in at $1. It puts you in the running for the drawing we're doing tomorrow. As I said, there's going to be a lot of Negan goodness in the surprise pack, as well as, other little stuff we throw in there. So, yeah, get on Patreon. There'll be a link in the description for this video. And, yeah, just jump on board, support the podcast, and win some cool stuff, possibly.
Yeah, we're going to definitely hook you up, patrons, and we thank you so much, and we appreciate it so very. Even if you're not a patron, we still love you, and we appreciate it.
And we're going to be doing giveaways just for regular listeners as well.
Yeah.
So there's going to be plenty of love to go around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But, yeah, patreon.com/thepodcastingdead. Don't forget also, I don't know where you're listening to this, but we are available on YouTube, as the man with the lovely voice at the beginning of the video said.
Beautiful voice. Great throat.
He actually does voices for a lot of popular cartoons.
Yeah, you were telling me that, man. This guy
Phineas
got
and
quite a
Ferb.
resume. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's in a lot of stuff. Yeah, dude. And he works for our company.
I was gonna say we need to get him in as a guest.
Yeah,
well, since he works with the company, maybe not. But.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah. But as he says, don't forget we're available all kinds of places on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to podcasts. Odds are we're there.
Chances are, yeah.
Except for Podbean. I'm working on Podbean, but Podbean is really being a pain in my ass right now.
But
yeah,
we're there for you. Not hard to find.
Please excuse my stumbling this morning. I can't talk worth a shit, and I think it's probably just because I didn't sleep worth a shit.
Could be it, man. I can't get names right for a damn.
You can't get names right, but at least you can string a sentence together without stumbling. I'm like, how have I been in radio? How have I been getting paid to talk for like 13 years now? And yet I can't talk worth a shit. You know what I mean? So it's just one of those days. Hopefully I won't be as stumbling and moronic sounding in the next podcast.
Next week I'm printing out a character sheet.
I used to have one for you. Yeah, I used to have one for all of us.
Which I need one for like just who was in that episode that particular night. You know, that's what.
That's a lot harder to find. I'm not saying it's impossible. Yeah. Somebody be like, "Oh, I found it." No, it is. You can find it, but I mean, I remember searching for just a Walking Dead character list in general, man, one time, and I found it, but it was a pain in the ass. Like finding one that has everybody,
right?
Because then you would get it and you'd print it out and you'd be like, they didn't even put Rosita on here. Or like Eugene's not even in this. Like what the?
So yeah, we will we'll be rejuvenated by next Monday, and we'll see the patrons tomorrow and Wednesday. We'll have something weird for you.
I'm super jelly of whoever wins that Patreon contest.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be some good stuff.
I mean, I've been begging JP like, let's just keep it.
Well,
we can split custody, you know what I mean? Like, we'll keep it in the box, and you take it for a while, I'll take it.
Right.
I wish I would have thought, man, because, I'm really into, like, outdoor stuff and, like, survival and all of that. Not saying I feel like whenever I say that, somebody's like, oh, you think you're an expert? No, I just really enjoy it, you know what I mean? I love, like, this weekend, I went out Saturday and chopped wood forever and was working on, like, some little bushcrafty type stuff. It's just fun to do.
Yeah,
like, you could take, like, sticks and build a little shelter. It's just cool to know how to do that stuff. But I really wish I'd have had time. I would have tried to find and ordered, like, a really nice knife to throw in there. But then again, I probably would have tried to find a nice survival knife, and I feel like probably whoever won would not be very into that stuff, so it would just sit on the shelf.
But no, we got some cool stuff coming, and we'll see the patrons tomorrow.
Oh, and don't forget to follow me on Patreon. I mean, not Patreon, damn it. See, this is what I'm talking about. Don't forget to follow me on Periscope. I'm going to go hike McPhee's Knob this weekend, which is supposedly the most photographed part of the Appalachian Trail. I'm going to be hiking that with a few friends. Make sure you follow me on Periscope, and I'll take you along for that journey. I don't think my friends want to be filmed, but nonetheless, I'll still take you along for the journey. And hopefully whenever JP gets a free Saturday, he'll go hiking with me so we can get ready for this big, tough course that we want to do.
That's right. So, yeah, stay tuned.
Tell JP you want to see him hike.
And do that as well.
I'm sitting here trying to look for my Periscope so I can give you my username because I don't use it ever. I think, did you still use it?
We've got a link to it in the description.
Oh, do we?
So, yeah.
It's just I'm Justin Lloyd, all lowercase, 2 L's in Lloyd. So, yeah. Follow me on there. I have 11 followers, but I also haven't used it in months. But, yeah, so we'll see you tomorrow for the Patreon exclusive podcast. If we don't see you for that and you're not a patron, it's okay. We'll catch you Wednesday for a Weird Wednesday.
That's right.
I'm Justin.
I'm JP.
And we're the Podcasting Dead.